Have you been thinking about moving to Oakland, but you're not really sure how the school systems work? I mean, is there a lottery? Does it matter what neighborhood you live in? When are you supposed to apply? I've got that information coming for you right now. Hi everyone, welcome back. I am Simone Koga with That East Bay Life. I am a Compass real estate agent here in the San Francisco Bay Area. I live and work and serve Berkeley, Oakland, and surrounding communities. So if you are looking for information about That East Bay Life, make sure you subscribe, follow along, and I'm putting out new videos every week. So you've got a lot of great things coming your way. Okay, so today we're gonna be focusing on Oakland schools. So there are a lot of different school systems in the East Bay, and there are charter schools, and there are public schools, there are private schools, there are preschools. There's a lot of different types of education here. Today we're going to be focusing on Oakland Unified School District. That's the main public school district's main enrollment program. While there are charter schools here in Oakland, they each have their own enrollment process that's very different from the OUSD process. So we're going to focus on OUSD for this video. I'm happy to do more. So if you have questions about the other school systems or charter schools or private schools, drop a comment below so I know that you're interested, and I'll happily make a video for you about those. Oakland Public Schools, what do you need to know? Well, if you are new to the district, if you have an incoming kindergartner, 6th grader, or 9th grader, you need to go through the enrollment process. Once your child is in a school, and if you're happy with that school, they can stay in that school without having to reapply every year through their career in those school years. For example, if you have a kindergartner that goes into a new elementary school, and that elementary school runs through the 5th grade, then once you've gotten them into kindergarten and you like that school, you can keep going with that school through the 5th grade. But once it's time for them to begin the 6th grade, you're going to have to get them enrolled into middle school, and you'll have to go through this process again. There are a few exceptions. There are a few span schools that they call them, that they basically span different segments of the years of schooling. For example, Hillcrest Elementary in Upper Rockridge runs from kindergarten through 8th grade. If you have a child that gets in at kindergarten at Hillcrest and you like the school, you have to reapply when they are going into the 6th grade. Now they get priority, so there's a good chance you'll stay there, but you do have to go through that application process at each of those periods: kindergarten, going into 6th grade, going into 9th grade. So how do you know which school you're supposed to go to? So the Oakland Unified School District has a ton of schools. Some of them are rated higher than others. Some of them have programs that others don't. Some might be bilingual or focus on the arts. There's all sorts of different things that might attract you and your family. You can apply to all of them. A good number of people like to apply to the neighborhood school just because it's close, and it makes it a whole lot more convenient to drop off and pick up your child if they're, going to school nearby your home. You don't have to go to that particular school. You can apply to other ones. To find out what school is your neighborhood school, you need to go to the OUSD School Finder website. There you can type in your address and it will tell you which schools are considered your neighborhood school. Basically, each school has a boundary, and anybody that resides within that boundary of the school is considered a neighbor. And there you get a certain level of preference for that school. You don't automatically get into the neighborhood school though. A lot of people make the decision of where they want to live based on the neighborhood school and assume that if they live there, they will be able to go to that school. It's not exactly the case. Now, there is a certain level of priority that you receive if you are in the neighborhood, but there are other higher levels of priority above you. So let's go over what the priorities are. First, continuing students. So if a student is already enrolled in that school, they've got a slot guaranteed for next year. So if for some reason there are already a lot of there are a lot of existing students and you're coming into a year, just because you live in that neighborhood does not mean you'll automatically be able to go in. For example, if you have a 2nd grader and all of the places have been taken up by local 2nd graders who are already enrolled in the 1st grade, then you might not get a spot. Now, families are coming and going in and out of the district all the time, so that might change over time, but it's not an automatic guarantee. So make sure you look at the whole process. Then after them comes siblings. So if you have a second grader that's going into third grade, and you've got a younger child that's going to be going into kindergarten. OUSD doesn't want you to have to be schlepping children from one side of town to the other. They recognize that it's best to have families close together. So if you already have a student at a particular school and you have another child that will be attending at the same time, and that's key, they do have to be attending at the same time, then that child will get priority. They get second preference there. Like I said, it's key that the students do need to be attending at the same time. So if you have a fifth grader that's about to go to sixth grade and you have a kindergartner that's incoming, that doesn't count. They have to be attending the school at the same time during the school year. So there's a third priority category, and that is for opportunity tickets. These are a little bit rarer. They're basically given to students whose school closed or relocated in the previous year. So there are occasionally school mergers where they take two different campuses and merge them together, or a full-on school closure where they completely close an elementary school or middle school or high school. And those students from that school will get a higher level of preference for going to a new school because their local neighborhood school doesn't exist anymore, or isn't located in the same location anymore. So, continuing students, siblings, opportunity tickets, neighbors. So neighbors are usually the bulk of the students that are in a particular school. It's possible that those first three categories could technically fill up a school to the level that nobody else can come in, but it doesn't happen too often. What can happen, however, is that a school might be oversubscribed, meaning there are so many children in that neighborhood that are coming into that particular school year, like a kindergarten or a sixth grade, that perhaps there's not room for all of those students. So just be aware that just because you live in the neighborhood does not mean that you will automatically get into the school. If a school has filled up with those first four categories, then that's it. There's no more admissibility. There's no more room for additional enrollment. But if a school still has some additional seats, the next level of priority goes to OUSD staff member children. So if a teacher is working at a particular school and there is room after all the neighborhood children have enrolled, then the staff member's child can enroll as well. After OUSD staff, then comes general Oakland residents in the lottery. Technically, those are two different categories. It's residents of Oakland first and then general lottery, but for all practical purposes, it's everybody is in a lottery, and if for some reason you aren't from Oakland, then you go to the bottom of the lottery pack. So we've gotten to the lottery, which is kind of the confusing part for most people, so let's talk about it. With the lottery system, you're basically allowed to choose 6 schools that you want to be considered for, and you can put in applications to up to 6 schools. You are automatically also put into the running for your neighborhood schools. So that's 6 schools plus your neighborhood school, bringing the total up to 7 schools that you could be in consideration for. The way they run the lottery is by ranking. What OUSD wants is for you to get into the highest ranked school in your personal ranking that you possibly can get into. So what they'll do is they'll look at number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7 and see if you're able to get in, if you have the ability to get in. So basically, after all of those priorities have gone into place, you've put down a number 1 school, and unfortunately that school is already filled up and there's just not any additional room for that school because all the neighborhood schools might have already gotten into it. Okay, so number 1, you can be waitlisted for. You will automatically be placed on the wait list for a school if you haven't gotten into it and it's higher up in your priority system. Okay, then they'll go to number 2. Okay, well, number 2 also, unfortunately, is completely full right now. There's no room for enrollment. They've given all the spots up to neighborhood students and people with higher priority. They'll put you on the wait list for that one as well. Number 3, hey, would you look at that? They actually have room in number 3. You are now offered number 3. That means that they will keep you waitlisted on number 1, keep you waitlisted on number 2, but numbers 4, 5, and 6, and if it was one of your neighborhood schools that you didn't actually have ranked in the top 3, they're going to remove your application from consideration from those schools. Now, you want to make sure that you rank the schools that you like in order that you like them, right? Because while you may not get into your first school or your second school or even your third school, you might get offered a place in your 4th school, you're going to be put on the wait list for those schools that are above it. So if you got an offer on school number 4, but that means you were waitlisted for 1, 2, and 3. And you can see how high up or down you're going to be on that wait list. The platform that they utilize, the portal on Schoolment, lets you know which position you're in for each school. So as everybody starts making their decisions about next school year, maybe some local neighbor families that were offered a position in a school that you ranked really, really high but didn't get into. Maybe some local families decide that they are moving away, that they want to go to a different school completely, whatever reason, they aren't going to take the position that they were offered. And so now spots are coming up in the spots are going to be coming open in maybe your number 1 or number 2 school. And so you just kind of have to see. Now you can accept the offer for your whatever numbered school it may be, 3, 4, 5, 6, maybe even 7, if that's your neighborhood school. You can accept that offer and still be on the wait list. That doesn't kick you off. But once you accept the offer, once you're offered a school, the schools below it no longer become accessible. You were not waitlisted for the other schools. That's why it's really important to make sure that your rankings go from your preferred school to your least preferred of those 6 schools. One thing to note about the waitlist is that it doesn't last forever. You're not waitlisted throughout the entire year. OUSD really wants things to be solidified within a few weeks of the school year beginning. So I believe it's 10 days of school classes, 10 school days before they shut the waitlists down completely. So, if enrollment announcements are given out in March, you might be on a wait list through August, but then the second week of school in late August, or that might even be almost September, they're going to cut off the wait list, and the school that you're in is the school that you're in. One more thing about wait lists. If you are offered a position in one of your waitlisted schools, you can still remain on the wait list for schools that are higher ranked above it. So if you got into your number 5 school and then you got an email or a text that your number 3 school had a position available and you could attend it, that's wonderful. You can go to that school and you can still be on the wait list for number 2 or number 1. You will no longer be on the wait list for number 4, and you've given up your position in number 5. So that's Oakland Public School enrollment in a nutshell. But there's so much more to consider. There are charter schools, there are private schools. You can even apply to schools in Berkeley or Piedmont. Bet you didn't know that, right? So if you have questions about education in the East Bay, it's all about that East Bay life here. So drop your comments below. I will get you those answers, okay? See you next time.